Hello and welcome to Rotted Reviews, and today I'm going to be talking about a movie that is another rotted request, this time coming from Jackie, who wanted me to watch and review the 2009 movie Low. Jackie says she picked this one because it's a horror romance to get into the February Valentine spirit. I am approaching this just a hair late for that. I apologize, but February's not over yet, and whatever. So this is a movie that I had never seen before, and I was honestly kind of excited about. I had seen the poster, and honestly, I really didn't know anything about it other than the poster looked interesting and people generally talked about it fairly favorably. This was written and directed by Travis Betts, and yeah, I loved going in blind on something that I've honestly kind of had in my to-watch list for a very long time. And I gotta say that Low was not entirely what I was expecting. I wasn't entirely sure what I was expecting, but this wasn't it. So the premise of this one is generally fairly simplistic. A man undergoes a ritual in which he summons a demon to ask that demon a favor. I guess, by the summoning ritual, he is able to make demands of this demon, Lo, who crawls out from the darkness and is an antagonistic spirit, is a demon. What do you want? It's a demon. But generally what this man, Justin, wants is his girlfriend back. Apparently at one point in his life, a demon came and kidnapped his girlfriend and left him with a very nasty wound. So he is attempting to right the wrongs, find his girlfriend from the pits of hell, and have her brought back to the world of the living. So that's why he needs Lo. Unfortunately for Justin, played by Ward Roberts, Lo is a creature that is, well, yeah, duty bound by the sacred rites of the ritual, but at the same time doesn't always have to be the most accommodating and certainly not the most genteel.
Now clean this from your pants and tell me what you want.
So when I said this movie wasn't exactly what I was expecting, I think the thing about that most accurately would be the aesthetic look to it. The entirety of this movie takes place within this circle. Everything around them is pitch black and they just exist within the circle. Sometimes the angle will shift and we'll go to kind of a stage play-esque recollection of Justin's memory of past events as they kind of go through what actually happened when his girlfriend was taken away, so on and so forth. But for the most part, it's a black room with a static setting and this circle with the two characters, one in, one out. And if Justin sets a finger outside of the circle, then he is no longer protected. So it kind of becomes a little bit of a game of wits between the two characters, which I thought was rather interesting, and it worked really well. Jeremiah Burkett playing the character of Lo was fantastic as a sourpuss antagonistic resource of verbal sparring that was just perfect for the role. By having this set as almost a cinematic stage play, it really put a lot of hyper focus on the characters. It's something that I think is a unique aesthetic that works generally well when employed right. Lars von Trier did it extraordinarily well with Dogville and Manderley. I don't really see it a whole lot because it is a tricky thing to pull off. Because when you do have hyper focus on the characters, you don't have the distraction of background. You don't have the distraction of multiple angles, of multiple scenes, of multiple locations. It's simply just these two characters in the dark together. You really have to have some very strong characters to pull that off without losing the audience, anywhere between 5 minutes to an hour and a half in. And I would have to say that Lo mostly pulls that off. I did keep my focus, I did keep my attention, and it did keep my interest as it was kind of exploring the characters, what actually happened to Justin's girlfriend, so on and so forth. And, throughout the course of it, it helps that we get introduced to a few more characters. Another demon of one sort or another will come out of the woodwork and talk with Justin and, again, antagonize him. And it's just a lot of verbal and emotional mind games that's being played within all of the characters that pop in and out of this movie. And I think that of all the things that worked, there was one thing that kind of almost didn't, and that was Justin. Well, not Justin so much as, unfortunately, Ward Roberts' performance of Justin. And I'm not going to say that it was a bad performance, not at all. It was actually a good performance. It was just a simple matter of having a good, not great performance that happened to be standing under one of the brightest spotlights a character can possibly be put under. By having the stage play aesthetic and having Justin as a character go through so many emotional ups and downs as he's exploring his memory, as he's exploring the reality, as he's talking with these demons, it really kind of put him in a huge amount of audience focus that needed a wide emotional range. And there were some elements of the performance that worked well, and unfortunately some that just didn't. And in those moments where it didn't, I couldn't help, and I feel bad saying this, I couldn't help but feel like I really wish they had had a different actor in the role. I think that Ward Roberts, again, did a good job. It was just during those very strong emotional moments, it just didn't feel like it had the gravitas or payoff. And I kind of felt like the movie itself deserved that much better. And having a movie that's very character-centric without a lot of other distractions to it, I did kind of feel like towards the middle, some of the pacing was a bit off, and it did start to kind of lose me a little bit. Fortunately, it wasn't very long, and some of the plot points started to kind of kick back in. Some of the reveals were rather interesting, and some of the areas that it started to explore caught me right back into the movie, and it kept me there all the way through the end. This was a really fun, interesting film with a deceptively simplistic visual style. So although it does have its faults, I have to say that I did enjoy Low immensely, and I'm very grateful for Jackie to bring this one to my attention, and I happily give it a full blanket recommendation. If you haven't seen it, I recommend going and looking for it. It's a little bit tough to find for some kind of odd reasons, not the least of which I found is the fact that it just simply has a 2-letter name to it. And just looking for things like on justwatch.com or other sites, sometimes their search bar doesn't even activate until you get 3 letters in. And when you try to bring up search results in IMDb and so on, just 2 letters doesn't quite cut it unless you're a massively popular franchise where the popularity itself kind of skews the algorithm like it. But even so, if you can find it, and I recommend searching for it, I do recommend the movie Low. So thank you to Jackie for recommending this movie to me, and thank you for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click like and subscribe. If you want to support me and my channel further, go ahead and consider leaving a super thanks or possibly joining the Patreon. We'd love to have you there. We have watch parties, Discord benefits, exclusive videos, all sorts of good stuff starting at only $1 a month. Link is in the description below. Remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.